So if you've been following the Resident Evil community as of late, you probably have noticed the presence of what seems to be a large quantity of people who pose as Resident Evil fans. People who want to be a fan of this iconic and beloved video game series but refuse to play any of the games. Now before I begin, I am not exactly a fan of being a very negative individual over the things I love personally. In fact, I've been watching the RE community for years without talking about any of the toxic problems. Only to unfortunately watch the community nosedive, specifically after RE4 Remake. Basically, I've been holding off from talking about any ounce of toxicity regarding the fandom, to be more mentally healthy. However, since I'm not exactly a sane person, I thought to myself, why not go ahead and tackle the topic? Why not talk about how I personally feel in relation to this debatably small but obnoxiously loud war? So in all honesty, I'm getting extremely tired of the fighting, all of this debating, all of the fussing, specifically the side of those posing as fans. Now, I do not care if you're a fan because of the lore without playing the games because hey, at least you know what you're talking about. I also do not mind if you're experiencing a very poor financial situation either, but I do hope it gets a lot better if you are. Perhaps you might have a disability that holds you back from experiencing the series through a more hands-on approach as usual. On the other hand, I do mind it when I know there are many, and I mean many people who can waste hours watching streamers scream over the games in a Let's Play, or possibly wasting time watching hundreds to possibly thousands of brain-rotting TikTok fanfiction edits. If you can dedicate so much of your time to watching people talk over the game or mindless videos, then you can dedicate that time to playing them, getting to understand them more and more like a true fan would. Seriously, what if I said I'm a fan of a film, TV series, or book that you love? I talk so much about it in very inaccurate ways, spreading misinformation, criticizing it for all the wrong reasons, all just to reveal that I never watched it or read it in the first place, but still, I would have the audacity to claim I'm a huge fan. How would that feel? Is that not ridiculously frustrating to experience? Now imagine that, but instead, it's a bunch of posers rewriting the video game franchise that you love so very much. Watching everyone left and right call veterans posers, like for example, Bakbasu, you know, the guy who has thousands of hours from speedrunning and marathoning the Resident Evil games, they're calling him a poser too. Some people even talk about how a game is bad because their favorite character from their favorite fan edit didn't make it into the game. As if a character makes a video game truly good or bad. You can have a good video game with a bad character or a bad character in a good video game. These very same people even criticize the games by borrowing an opinion from a YouTuber since they never played the games themselves, therefore being completely powerless to create an original opinion to save their own life. At this point, many of you might even think that a lot of us in the community are being harsh when in reality, we're just so damn tired of having front row seats to the downfall of a once super beloved community that's being tarnished by people who rather adopt the look of Resident Evil than accept it for what it is. A fucking video game. I think it's extremely odd, if not crazy, that we have made it to the point where we have to argue with so many people because they simply are too lazy or uninterested to play a video game. Imagine not wanting to play a video game of all things, but rather consume made-up bullshit on their phone, conjured up from a possible, maybe even a toxic stan account who has no idea what they're talking about either. Yet they also love the character and they know everything about them. Not to sound incredibly selfish here because I like new people getting into my favorite video games, but I should never feel like I should miss when video games were not exactly super insanely popular where they were everywhere for almost everyone. I hate gatekeeping. It's exhausting to see your favorite anything become bastardized by these so-called fans. These people who will bend over backwards and make a bunch of points to stand on, unaware that they're actually standing on quicksand. If you don't believe me on any of this, Leon's voice actor Nick Apostolides asked the fan what their favorite game was. They simply responded with honesty, stating that they don't have a favorite, that they actually came from TikTok. You see what I mean here? To make the excuses seem far weaker than what they are, allow me to talk about something magical that happened recently with a best friend of mine. I have a buddy who did not care for Resident Evil whatsoever. I could have placed $1 million bet that he'd never play the series, although I'm really glad I didn't. This is where the story actually becomes a little bit funny. So after Resident Evil Veronica was revealed last month, I posted an image of Claire Redfield's new redesign from the game. Upon seeing it and other images of Claire, this man immediately planned to start his Resident Evil adventure. Yes, your hearing is not failing you. My friend was fictionally pussy whipped into playing the series. Honestly though, can you really blame him? It's Claire Redfield. I'd probably do the same as him. However, that's not all. He started his adventure with RE Remake first before moving forward to play the entire original trilogy and more. He at first hated the tank controls, but grew used to them over time. He's not exactly just playing for Claire Redfield either, or even the remake. He's playing while admiring the art direction, and he's even demanding that I do not spoil a single thing for him because he wants to solve the mysteries himself. He is 100% locked into playing this franchise. I even watched him play my favorite of the OG trilogy, RE3 Nemesis. I joke you not when I say he was perfecting the dodge mechanic on his first playthrough better than I have on my first playthrough. He fought through the Clock Tower Nemesis boss fight with no healing items while dodging as if he was a professional. I was amazed and felt as if I needed to work on my own dodging too, because I felt a little pathetic in that regard. Afterwards, he said RE3 OG was in fact his favorite so far. Currently, he's playing Code Veronica, and since it's not available on Steam, guess what? He emulated the game. Something I've seen plenty of people make excuses for time and time again. Something poor hardware, I guess. As if you need powerful hardware to run PS1 games where 3D models run across 2D pre-rendered backgrounds. Eventually though, he'll move on to play RE0, then right after he'll conquer the game that gave him trauma decades ago, the original RE4. I'm super excited to watch him play that game specifically, since I know he'll kick its ass and it's one of my top favorite video games. I'm also excited to watch him play the much later RE Engine titles, since I know those games are amazing too. RE7 will definitely be a good time for a first time player. That will be very much entertaining to watch. As of now though, I feel like a proud parent because never would I have thought to see a friend of mine play Resident Evil, let alone enjoy it so much. It's like I stepped into an alternate reality similar to the previous, except my friend is now an RE fan. I'm not complaining whatsoever, and I just would like more people to take time to play these amazing games like he is. If you'd rather not emulate them for the safety of your PC, even though you could look up some rather trustable sites, then save up to buy the classics from Steam. Wait for a sale if you have to because you can get them through some pretty nice price drops. It's kinda common. If it's the RE Engine titles that you really want, then save up at least for a beefy gaming laptop if not a powerful PC. Perhaps you can also save up for a console, if that's an option. If you can't afford to still be on your mobile device, whether it be a phone or a laptop, while going on any social media platform of your choosing to post or watch videos, or anything else, then you can put up some money on the side to save to afford these type of things. It might take time, but it will be worth the wait, I assure you. Overall, my story about one of my best buddies leaves me with a good question for those who refuse to play any of these games because apparently it seems impossible. If my best friend who at one point could care less about Resident Evil is now a huge fan playing through the franchise, then what is exactly stopping you from doing what seems to be the hardest thing in the world, which is playing a video game? If there's anything I can leave you with, it's this: stop posing and start playing. It's that simple.